bandits attacked a peaceful town. Every inhabitant of the town was a good Christian. The bandits devised a devilish plan, not realizing something big and unimaginable is coming on their way. Welcome back. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. The movie kicks off in the late 1800s with a bunch of outlaws riding into a small town called Sweetwater. The gang's led by Blackjack, and his sidekick Cav is always there to back him up. As soon as they settle in, Blackjack notices his nephew Sonny playing with the local kids, and he's like, "Seriously, Sonny? We're outlaws, not babysitters." He starts wondering if this kid's really got what it takes for the outlaw life, and gives him a good scolding like, "Get your head in the game, kid. We're robbing banks, not running daycare." Speaking of which, Blackjack wastes no time and orders his crew to hit the bank. Inside, he faces off with a terrified teller. When the guy refuses to open the safe, Blackjack shoots one of his fingers off. He's like, "Want to rethink that, buddy? Or should I start on the toes?" Meanwhile, outside, Sonny's on lookout duty when he spots Dolly, the local prostitute. Now, Sonny's trying hard to impress her. And what's his move? He whips out one of his favorite books and asks her to sign it. Nothing says outlaw like a book club. But before he can get her to autograph it, chaos erupts as the town's security forces arrive. The gang is tipped off and a wild shootout follows. In the middle of the mess, Blackjack shoots some poor customer who tries to be a hero. Sonny, meanwhile, spots Dolly hit by a stray bullet and is torn between helping her and saving one of his gang members who's also been wounded. He's basically having the worst day ever. Help the woman I'm crushing on or save my teammate. Decisions. After they make a clean break from the town with bags of stolen cash, Blackjack calls a pit stop to divvy up the loot. He warns his crew that it's going to get rough from here. More people are going to die. Badger, Blackjack's brother, is already injured but insists he's good to go. Sonny's like, maybe we should take a break? But Badger's all, "Nah, kid, I'm fine. What's a little blood loss?" Well, spoiler alert, Sonny was right, and Badger falls behind shortly after. Sonny stays with him, looking like the only responsible adult in the group. The next day, Badger's barely hanging on and falls off his horse. He knows it's the end for him, so he asks the others to finish him off, but no one's willing. Before they leave, Badger gives Sonny some last words of wisdom, basically saying, "Find a better life, kid. Go read books. Don't rob banks." Not the best career advice, but it's heartfelt. Badger then begs Sonny to end his suffering. And even though Sonny's never fired a gun, he steps up. That's gotta be some messed up family bonding right there. Cav hears the gunshot and shows up to congratulate Sonny for manning up. But before anyone can say anything else, bullets start raining down from the cliff above, and Sonny catches one in the leg. The gang scrambles to escape, and in the rush, their horse carrying all the loot gets shot. Blackjack looks at the bag of cash and has a moment where he's like, "Do I really need it?" But Cav's like, "Dude, it's just money. Let's not die over it, all right?" After finally losing the security forces, the gang keeps moving through a sandstorm that feels like it's never going to end. But just when they think they're in the middle of nowhere, they stumble out into this lush, green paradise. Cav's probably thinking, wait, did we take a wrong turn and end up in a brochure for a vacation resort? They trek through a forest and come across this Native American guy just chilling by a random gate. You know, casual stuff. Eventually, they find a small town and stroll in, looking like they've been through a blender. The locals are shocked, but Sheriff Forrest is super friendly. Blackjack spins some story about being herders attacked by Apaches, and Forrest is like, "Oh man, that sucks. Let me help you out." The gang can't believe their luck. They get free drinks, a place to rest, and even free rooms at the hotel. Sonny's probably thinking, are we sure we didn't just hit the outlaw jackpot? While they're resting, Blackjack gets a weird vibe, like he recognizes the sheriff from somewhere.
There's a sheriff from somewhere. Just can't place it.
At the same time, Sonny's chatting with Rose, the town's nurse. She asks how many people he's killed, and Sonny, trying not to sound like a total rookie, admits to only one. Rose just shrugs like she hears that every day, and Sonny's left thinking, wow, tough crowd. Meanwhile, Sheriff Forrest is showing a couple of locals the bullets he pulled from the gang's wounds and quietly realizes something's off. He figures out these guys aren't herders, but instead of kicking them out, he's like, let's not stir up trouble. One of the townsfolk, Glenn, is not having it though, and he's ready to run the outlaws out of town, but the others convince him to chill.
Don't work that way, Sheriff. You should have told him to keep on riding.
It's like a showdown of who can stay polite the longest. Later, Blackjack tries to get the doctor drunk, but Dr. Woods politely declines. Blackjack still can't shake the feeling that he knows this guy from somewhere. As the sun sets, church bells ring, and everyone heads to church, including the bar owner. Cav laughs and says something like, "This town's full of pushovers. Robbing them is going to be a breeze." Sonny's still new to all this. Asks Cav what he means, and Cav's like, "Don't worry about it, kid." After church, Sonny opens up to Rose, explaining that the man he killed had actually asked him to do it. He's hoping to win some points. But before they can continue, Cav, drunk as usual, barges in and picks a fight with Sonny for talking to Rose. When Cav pulls a gun on the sheriff, Sonny steps in and knocks him out cold. "Forrest is all. We don't even have a jail for this guy." So they just let it slide, calling it a drunk accident. By the next morning, Sonny is slowly realizing that this whole outlaw life might not be as glamorous as he once thought. At least he's getting good at knocking out drunk uncles. Late one night, Sonny noticed Rose praying deeply. As he dozed off, he was startled awake by the sound of a horse-drawn carriage. The townspeople coming out of the church were excited to meet Dolly, though Sonny was shocked since he thought Dolly had died. The coachman gave Sheriff Forrest a white rose, saying Forrest could go home in a few days. Confused, Sonny tried to follow the carriage but quickly lost it. The next morning, Sonny confronted Forrest and Dolly, insisting Dolly had died in his arms back in Sweetwater. Dolly denied it, claiming her name was actually API. Frustrated, Sonny considered asking Doc Woods, suspecting Woods might be Doc Holliday, who supposedly died in 1887. Woods' defensive reaction only heightened Sonny's suspicions, though Woods brushed it off as a natural response. Sonny's thoughts spiraled. He began to wonder if the town was a hideout for outlaws thought to be dead. He suspected Glenn could be Billy the Kid, who supposedly died in 1881. Woods, sensing Sonny's suspicions, questioned him about Rose's identity, which left Sonny more confused. Sonny also wondered why Forrest didn't stop Blackjack, the leader of their gang, when he entered the town so easily. In another conversation, Sonny accidentally revealed that Blackjack's real name was linked to a famous train robber, catching Woods' attention. Sonny begged Woods to stay quiet, but Woods warned Sonny that making the wrong choices could be fatal. Later, Sonny confronted Lamb, accusing him of being Lefty Slade, a gunslinger believed to have died in a shootout. Lamb denied it, but Sonny noticed a gunshot scar on his wrist. Lefty admitted the truth, but before Sonny could ask more, chaos erupted as Blackjack's men trashed Lefty's garden. Enraged, Lefty killed one of them and collapsed in regret, feeling his years in the town were wasted. As the townspeople gathered, they saw a mysterious gatekeeper in the distance. Overcome with despair, Lefty walked with the gatekeeper through a misty gate and vanished, leaving Sonny with even more questions. Meanwhile, Blackjack's gang continued causing trouble. Forrest, calling Blackjack by his real name, ordered him to leave, but an enraged Blackjack failed in an attempt to attack him. Forrest hesitated when he had a chance to stop Blackjack, letting him escape. Just then, an earthquake shook the town. Blackjack, shaken by his men's deaths, lost his confidence and gathered the rest of his gang. Determined to stop Blackjack and his gang, Sonny snuck into their hideout and overheard their plan to rob and kill anyone in their way. Cav, one of the gang members, boasted about having control over Rose, alarming Sonny. He rushed to find her swimming at the lake, and when she got dressed, he noticed a bruise on her neck, similar to Lefty's scar. Rose revealed a shocking truth. She was actually Betty McCullough, the first woman hanged in the Arizona Territory for killing her abusive father after years of torment starting at age 12. Sonny realized that the town was a sanctuary for dead criminals, giving them a second chance at redemption. But Rose warned him that it was their final shot. She agreed to help Sonny warn Sheriff Forrest and the others about Blackjack and Cav's sinister plan, though she believed the town had faced worse threats before. That night, Sonny joined the townspeople at the church and learned the truth. The town was a refuge for criminals trying to cleanse their souls. They had 10 years to resist the temptations of their old lives to earn a place in heaven. But one mistake could destroy their chances forever. Disillusioned, Sonny wanted to leave, but Blackjack and Cav intercepted him, beating him badly. The townspeople, fearing for their own redemption, stood by in silence.
You want him? You got him.
After knocking him out, Blackjack and Cav dragged Sonny to Doc Woods for treatment. When Sonny regained consciousness, he thought he was dead, but Rose reassured him he was alive. Forrest apologized for not helping. Realizing how complicated the situation was for everyone, Sonny made a decision. He would face Blackjack's men alone to protect the town. Despite being weak, Sonny prepared for a final confrontation the next morning. Rose and others begged him to flee, but he refused. The church bells rang.
Get out while you still got time.
I ain't going nowhere.
calling the townspeople to worship as Dolly pulled Rose toward the church. In a bold move, Sonny declared his love for Rose. Inspired by Sonny's courage, Forrest decided to join the fight, realizing that he had been selfish for the past decade. Doc Woods reminded Forrest he had only 5 hours left to ascend to heaven, but Forrest, undeterred, tossed away his rose and prepared for battle alongside Sonny. Together with legendary outlaws like Billy the Kid and Wild Bill Hickok, Sonny stood his ground as Blackjack's gang set the town on fire. After a fierce fight, the legendary Cowboys defeated Blackjack's men. In the aftermath, Cav shot Sonny, but Sonny managed to wound him in return. Despite his injuries, Sonny felt no pain, and Forrest welcomed him into the town, realizing that Sonny, too, had been given a second chance. Their brief moment of peace was interrupted when Blackjack challenged Forrest to a duel. Forrest, acting quickly, shot Blackjack in the head, ensuring that he wouldn't be accepted into their sanctuary. The gatekeeper returned to take Blackjack and Cav through the fiery ravine, where their souls were consumed by flames. As the surviving Cowboys prepared to face their fate, a horse-drawn carriage arrived. The driver smiled and invited them to ascend to heaven, saying their sacrifices had earned them salvation. Forrest passed his sheriff's badge to Sonny, and the carriage carried the legendary outlaws to their final rest. Sonny chose to stay behind with Rose, finding his place among the redeemed.